The theater hums with a low, restless energy, the kind that comes from a crowd that has already seen dozens of hopefuls and thinks it knows what's coming next. Judges shuffle papers. A camera operator stretches his shoulders. Someone in the audience checks their phone. Another audition, another dream. Then the doors open, a single figure steps out, and something about the way he moves makes the room hesitate. He isn't loud. He isn't trying to be noticed. He walks carefully, almost respectfully, as if the stage itself is something sacred. The spotlight finds him late, sliding across the floor before finally landing on his face. He's Filipino, mid-30s, dressed simply, a slightly worn jacket, dark pants, polished shoes that look like they've walked a long way to get here. No entourage, no dramatic entrance music. Just him, standing alone in front of thousands. A few murmurs ripple through the crowd. Someone whispers, "Who's this guy?" A soft laugh drifts from the upper seats. Not cruel, just uncertain. The judges look up. Simon leans back in his chair, arms crossed, expression unreadable. He has seen this before. So many times. The hopeful walk, the quiet confidence, the promise that rarely delivers. "What's your name?" Simon asks. The man clears his throat. His voice is calm, gentle, carrying a trace of nerves he doesn't try to hide. He says his name, says where he's from. He bows his head slightly as he speaks, not to impress, but out of habit. "And what brings you here today?" Another judge asks. He pauses. For a moment it looks like he might change his answer. The room waits. "I'm here to sing," he says. The audience responds with polite applause. Nothing more. Singing is expected. "What will you be singing for us?" Simon presses. A breath, a longer pause, an Elvis Presley song. The reaction is instant. A wave of doubt rolls through the theater. People shift in their seats. A few eyebrows lift. Someone near the front lets out a quiet chuckle. Elvis has been done, overdone, destroyed by bad impressions and karaoke dreams. Simon tilts his head slightly. "Elvis?" he repeats. "Yes, sir," the man says, nodding once. There's no arrogance in him, no attempt to sell the moment, just honesty. The judges exchange quick glances. This could be a disaster, the kind that lives forever on the internet, or it could be something else. The cameras zoom in, hungry for whatever happens next. "All right," Simon says at last. "Whenever you're ready." The music doesn't start right away. Instead, the man closes his eyes. He places one hand lightly on the microphone stand. His shoulders rise as he takes a slow, deliberate breath. Not the breath of someone pretending to be brave, but of someone steadying himself for something deeply personal. The theater grows quieter. You can hear a cough, a shifting chair, the soft hum of lights overhead. Then the band begins. The first note leaves his mouth, and it cuts through the room like electricity. Not loud, not forced, just pure, rich sound. A voice that doesn't ask for attention but commands it anyway. Conversations die instantly. Phones freeze mid-scroll. A woman in the front row gasps without realizing she's done it. That voice doesn't sound like an impression. It sounds like memory. Heads snap up across the audience. Simon's posture changes, almost imperceptibly. He leans forward, eyes narrowing, as if trying to understand what he's hearing. The singer opens his eyes and looks out into the crowd, and suddenly there's confidence there. Not flashy confidence, but something earned, something lived in. He sings the second line, and the tone deepens. Warm, soulful, honest. Every word lands with weight, as if it's been carried across oceans to reach this stage. A judge whispers, "Oh my." Someone in the audience covers their mouth. Another starts recording, hands shaking. This isn't nostalgia. This isn't imitation. This is resurrection. By the time he reaches the end of the first verse, the room has completely transformed. The skepticism is gone, replaced by stunned silence. Even the cameras seem to move more slowly, as if afraid to interrupt the moment. And as he prepares to climb into the next note, higher, stronger, fearless, one thing becomes painfully clear to everyone in that theater. This audition is no longer just an audition. Something unforgettable has begun. The second verse begins, and the shift in the room is almost physical, like the air itself has thickened. What was once cautious silence turns into something deeper, heavier. Every ear leans forward, every eye locks onto the man standing under the lights. He doesn't rush the song. He lets it breathe. Each word rolls out with control and intention, shaped by years of listening, practicing, and living with the music, rather than copying it. His voice moves effortlessly between softness and strength, pulling the audience closer with every phrase. It isn't just sound anymore, it's storytelling. The camera cuts to the judges. One judge's foot taps unconsciously, caught in the rhythm. Another sits perfectly still, eyes wide, as if afraid blinking might break the spell. Simon's jaw tightens slightly, his trademark skepticism now replaced by focused attention. This isn't a novelty, this isn't a lucky moment. This is craft. The singer takes a small step forward, just enough to step fully into the light. The spotlight sharpens, outlining his face, the emotion etched into every line. You can see it now, the confidence rising, the nerves melting away, the performer emerging. He reaches the pre-chorus, and the band swells gently beneath him. The audience starts to react, not loudly, not yet, but in waves, a collective intake of breath, a ripple of goosebumps. Someone whispers, "Wow," like they can't help it. Then comes the chorus. He doesn't belt it. He owns it. The melody opens up, rich and powerful, filling every corner of the theater. The sound system seems almost too small to contain him. The notes stretch, full and resonant, vibrating through seats and chests alike. A woman in the balcony wipes tears from her cheeks. A man beside her shakes his head, stunned, a smile spreading across his face. This is the kind of voice that makes people feel something before they understand why. Simon leans forward even more now, elbows on the desk. His eyes never leave the stage. The familiar smirk is gone completely. Halfway through the song, the singer closes his eyes again, not to hide, but to dig deeper. He bends slightly at the waist, gripping the microphone, and when he releases the next line, it carries a rawness that wasn't there before. This is the moment. The note climbs, higher, stronger, and he holds it. The sound doesn't waver. It doesn't crack. It blooms. The theater erupts before the note even ends. Gasps turn into cheers. Applause breaks out instinctively, cutting through the music. People rise from their seats without realizing they've done it. One judge's hand flies to their chest. Another laughs in disbelief, shaking their head as if watching something impossible unfold. Simon exhales sharply, eyes widening. A reaction he rarely allows himself. When the applause settles, the singer doesn't rush. He lets the energy roll over him, then continues, completely in control. That brief eruption only fuels him. His posture straightens, his voice grows even more assured. Now he moves with the music, subtle, effortless. A small sway of the shoulders, a tilt of the head, nothing exaggerated, nothing forced. It's authenticity, not imitation. The final chorus approaches, and the audience senses it. You can feel the anticipation build, buzzing like static. Phones are fully raised now, screens glowing across the darkened theater. Somewhere backstage, producers exchange looks that say, everything. This is television gold. He hits the last chorus with everything he has. Not louder, but deeper. Emotion pours through every syllable. It feels personal, almost confessional, as if he's singing not to the crowd but through them. When he reaches the final note, he doesn't rush it. He lets it hang in the air, long, perfect. The band fades beneath him, leaving just his voice, raw and exposed, before it finally resolves and disappears into silence. For a heartbeat, no one moves. Then the room explodes. A full standing ovation crashes through the theater. Cheers roar from every level. People scream his name, though many only just learned it. The judges stand too, clapping hard, faces lit with amazement. On stage, the singer bows his head, overwhelmed, one hand pressed to his chest. His eyes glisten under the lights. He came here to sing an Elvis song. Instead, he just reminded America why the music still matters, and why this moment will never be forgotten. The applause doesn't fade, it rolls. Wave after wave of sound crashes through the theater, so loud it almost feels physical. The singer remains still for a moment, standing at center stage as if trying to process what just happened. His chest rises and falls. His hands tremble slightly as he lowers the microphone. The standing ovation continues. People are shouting now, whistling, stomping their feet. From the balcony to the front row, the crowd is unified in a way that can't be rehearsed or faked. This isn't politeness. This is disbelief turning into joy. The camera cuts to the judges. One judge presses both hands together, clapping hard, eyes bright with emotion. Another laughs openly. shaking their head, mouthing the words, "That was insane." They exchange glances that say the same thing: "We just witnessed something rare." Simon is the last to stop clapping. When he finally sits, he takes a breath, glances down at the desk, then back up at the man on stage. The room quiets instinctively. Everyone wants to hear what he'll say. "I don't know how to explain this," Simon begins slowly, "because Elvis is one of the most imitated voices in history. And most of the time, it doesn't work." A few nervous chuckles ripple through the audience. "But what you just did," he continues, leaning forward, "wasn't an imitation. It wasn't karaoke. It was authentic." The singer nods slightly, eyes lowered, absorbing every word. Simon pauses, choosing carefully. "You made that song yours, and that's the hardest thing to do." The audience erupts again. Another judge jumps in, almost unable to sit still. "I had goosebumps from the first note," they say, pressing a hand to their arm. Not because it sounded like Elvis, but because it sounded like truth. "You sang with heart, and we felt it." The singer's eyes shine now. He swallows hard, trying to stay composed. A third judge leans into the microphone, smiling warmly. "I've been on this show for years, and moments like this, they don't happen often. This is why people watch." The crowd cheers in agreement. The host steps onto the stage, grinning, and hands the singer a towel. "Take your time," they whisper. The singer nods gratefully, wiping his face, still clearly overwhelmed. From the audience, chants begin. Slow at first, then louder. His name, over and over. He presses his hand to his chest and bows slightly, a gesture of gratitude that feels deeply sincere. Backstage, producers are already moving fast. Phones buzz, assistants whisper. Clips are being marked, cued, prepared for upload before the show even cuts to commercial. This moment isn't waiting for the internet. The internet is waiting for it. When the singer finally turns to leave the stage, the applause follows him like thunder. He takes a few steps, then stops, turning back toward the crowd one last time. He lifts the microphone again. "Thank you," he says simply. His voice cracks. That's all he can manage. As he disappears into the wings, the screen behind the judges flashes with social media reactions already pouring in. Comments, shares, heart emojis racing upward faster than anyone can read. Cut to living rooms across America. Phones light up. Group chats explode. Someone sends the clip with one message: "You have to see this." Another replies seconds later: "Is this even real?" Reaction videos begin popping up within minutes. People rewind the high note again and again, disbelief turning into obsession. Musicians pause the clip to analyze his technique. Fans argue passionately in comment sections. Elvis would be proud. "This gave me chills. I've watched this 10 times already." By the time the episode ends, the numbers are staggering. Millions of views. Trend? Worldwide. News outlets pick it up. Blogs write think pieces. Radio hosts debate whether this was one of the greatest auditions ever aired. And somewhere backstage, away from the noise and screens, the singer sits alone for a moment, head in his hands, trying to understand how a single song just changed his life. He didn't come to break the internet. He came to sing. But sometimes, when authenticity meets opportunity, something bigger happens. Something that cuts through algorithms, opinions, and borders. One voice, one stage, one unforgettable moment. America is still in shock, and the internet still can't handle it.